Hey, what's up everybody? In this video tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at wheel and axle. We're actually going to be building a pulley, which basically incorporates a wheel and axle. But we're also going to be building something that's going to be incorporating two pulleys. So it's basically what we call a pulley and belt system. If you don't know what a pulley and belt system is, well, think about your bicycle. Your bicycle uses something called a sprocket, which is a gear that has teeth. It is going to mesh with something called a roller chain, and then that is going to connect to another gear that has teeth in it. A belt and pulley system does not have gearing. It does not have roller chains. Instead, it just simply uses pulleys, and it's going to be using a belt, like a rubber belt, that's going to be sort of acting like a rubber band that's going to transmit power and motion from one pulley to the other. So that's what we're going to be creating today. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go into our Onshape lever assembly assignment from last time. And I'm going to create a new document, and we're just going to be calling this one Pulley Assembly Assignment. Okay, once we create that assignment, now what we can do is come down here to our assembly one. All right, so now we're going to start inserting parts. So I'm going to go out to insert, go into my other documents, go into my Onshape. I'm going to go into my lever assembly assignment from last time, and I should be seeing a pulley body. So I'm going to go ahead and pick on that pulley body, and I'm going to pick this to drop it in. Not just once, but two times. We're going to do two different assemblies with this. Okay, so now I'm going to go to other documents, go into my Onshape, go into my lever assembly assignment, and now I'm going to come down here and find my axle. I'm going to be dropping my axle in not once, not twice, but three times. We're going to need three axles for this one. I'm now going to go to other documents, my Onshape, my lever assembly assignment, and now I'm going to come down and find my large pulley wheel, and we're going to bring that in two times. So that's one, and that is two. And one more thing, we're going to go out to other documents, my Onshape, my lever assembly assignment, and I'm going to find my small pulley wheel. I'm going to pick on that, and I'm going to be dropping that in one time. All right, so we now have all the parts that we need. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to go ahead and just separate these just a little bit. I'm going to right click on this pulley body, and I'm going to go ahead and pick on fix. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking one of these axles, and we're basically just going to be gluing it into this body. So in order to do that, you guessed it, we're going to be using Fasten Mate. I'm going to come here to the back edge of this to find my joint origin. And then I'm going to be peeking into the larger portion of this and getting here to the back edge of this hole where we can see that joint origin. We're going to go ahead and select it. Just remember, if this is coming in, it's not looking correct, you might have to do a flip. Okay, I'm liking where that is at, so I'm going to go ahead and just green check it. All right, so now what we're going to be doing is taking this larger wheel pulley, and we're just going to be putting it right on top of the axle, but we want this to be able to rotate. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to be using the Revolute Mate. I'm going to be flipping this around, looking at the back side of this large wheel pulley, and I'm going to go ahead and just pick this edge for my joint origin. I'm going to come here to this back edge right here of the axle where it meets that face to select that for my joint origin. And obviously we have an overlap, so we can go ahead and do the flip. And now we can go ahead and green check it. All right, you want these ribs to be on the outside. And the reason is when we go to animate it, it's going to be hard to tell if it's spinning, okay, if that was just a flat surface. So that's why I dropped those ribs on it so we can actually see those things moving. All right, so speaking of animate, let's go ahead now and let's go to our Revolute 1 over here. Let's right click, pick on animate, and then hit the play button. And now we can see that wheel is actually spinning. All right, so even though this is a pulley, we've just basically created a wheel and axle. The only thing that's really missing from our pulley is going to be a rope or a string. That's an adaptive part. It's very hard to create, and I honestly don't even know if we can create that using Onshape. All right, so this would be the animation that you have to get a recording of for the first part of this assignment. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit escape on that. I'm now going to start working on the second part of this. So now we're going to be making that belt and pulley system. So I'm going to come here to my body. I'm going to right click and pick on fix. Just like last time, we're going to come up and go to fasten mate. We're going to pick on the back edge of this actual axle to grab that origin. And I'm just going to be peeking in here to the back side of this and make sure we find that origin like so. And now I can go ahead and green check it. Now I can go ahead and do a fasten mate. Same thing, pick the back edge of this axle, peek on the inside of this hole, find that edge, find the origin, and green check it. Just like last time, we're going to do a revolute mate of this large pulley. We're going to pick the back edge to find that origin. But now I'm going to be looking for this edge right here. This is where the axle and the actual body meet. So I'm going to pick on that to find the origin. And like I said, we might have to do a flip on this to green check it. So we can see that those ribs are on the outside. Okay, and then now we're going to come up, use revolute, flip this over, look at the back side of the small pulley, pick on the edge. And I'm just going to come in here and pick on this edge right here to find that origin. We might have to do the flip, green check it, and then close out. Okay, so once we have this, all right, there's something I want you to start taking a look at. Obviously, our pulley sizes are different. The thing is, if we had a rubber band that was connecting both of those pulleys together, all right, since we have two different size pulleys, that means it's going to have an impact on the speed that one pulley has on the other. All right, so we need to get some dimensions here. So if I come down and pick on measure, I can now just come in here to my large pulley. I'm going to pick this outside edge, and I can see that that diameter is 1. I'm going to go ahead and just pick out of this. I'm going to go to measure again, but this time I'm going to be coming in and grabbing this edge, and we can see that that diameter is 0.5. So our larger pulley is 2 times the size of the diameter of the small pulley, which means that your small pulley is actually going to be moving 2 times faster than the speed of your large pulley. All right, so they are going to be opposite of each other. All right, so in order to get this to work, up here you're going to be seeing something called gear relation. It's going to be asking me to come out and select 2 different mates. So the 2 different mates that we're going to be calling on are going to be the last 2 revolutes. So I'm going to come over and pick on revolute 2, and then I'm going to be picking on revolute 3. The relation ratio between those two we said was 2, and now all we have to do is green check it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come here to revolute 2. We're going to go ahead and animate this. I'm going to go ahead and hit the play button. So if you're looking at this, we can see that the speed is correct. We can see that that small pulley is actually moving like 2 times the speed of the large pulley. But the problem that we have is that they are running opposite to each other. So we can see that that pulley on top is going clockwise. The bottom pulley is going to be going counterclockwise. That is not how it would actually work. So in order to fix this, I'm going to come down here to my gear 1. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say edit. And now I'm going to be picking on this where it says reverse direction and green check it. And now I'm going to come back here to revolute 2. I'm going to animate this and hit the play button. So we can see that the speed is correct, and we can see that the rotation is correct as well. All right, so we have just created a belt and pulley system basically by making 2 different wheel and axles and having those have a relationship, okay, with that gear relation. All right, so this is going to be the second animation that you need to create a video for. All right, so there you go. Wheels and axles and pulleys and pulley and belt systems. Once again, all simple machines. And then you even got a little bit of a taste in there of gear ratios and speed, according to size. So kind of cool. But there you go. That is it for that activity.